Yeah. Yeah. Eh, eh, eh. Supersonic. What is up, Gumbo Nation? Wow, we got an amazing show planned for you. So do not go anywhere. Stick around. We're going to be live in just a few. You're gonna love it. Eh, eh, eh. Super dude.
You still there? I had to switch things real quick.
Yep, I'm good.
All right, cool.
What is up, Gumbo Nation? La 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 la. We're about to go live. Great topics today. We're going to be talking about spitting truths. Purchases, how affordability is improving. Refinance, is it right for you? And help you determine what programs are available. And we got tons of questions, tons going on. We'll try to get to those this week as well.
All right, 15 seconds.
Dude, I'm going to be singing Supersonic, dude, all day.
Sorry.
I love it.
All right, here we go.
Yep. What's cooking, Gumbo Nation? You're listening to Mortgage Gumbo with Dwayne Steiner right here on iHeartRadio, and I'm your host, Dwayne Stein. Hey! Gulf South Mortgage Authority. This is your home show where for 11 plus years we've been providing education and options on what is or will be your largest investment and most valuable asset, your home. So if you're new to the show, welcome to the Gumbo Nation. We think you'll be thanking your friends, your family, your cousins, your sisters. Well, I guess that's family. Your colleagues for sending you over. Super excited to have you with us as we continue our rocking and rolling into 2026. And, man, having last week Remy and Stash on from Fortified Golf. Dat Cam, we got loaded up. They got loaded up. That is so awesome, talking about those fortified roofs and all the benefits with that. So good stuff there. On the show today, refinancing. You've been waiting. Is it right for you? We're going to break that down. We're going to get into what are the different types of refinancing, the programs, I should say, and what you should be considering when it comes to a refinance. Also, affordability when it comes to purchases. Gumbo Nation, it's improving. We told you. We're 1% cheaper than last year. So, but we're going to talk about the affordability. We're going to talk about what I'm now seeing in this market. And why spring home buying? Hey, it may already be here. So we're going to make sure that we're talking about that. And then we got several questions as well. And so make sure tune in for that. Hey, the home away from the show is mortgagegumbo.com. You could go to YouTube, type in Mortgage Gumbo, any of the social media sites. I got a Facebook page, Gumbo Nation, all that kind of stuff. So I am your home wealth advisor. I'm a lender. And thanks to you, Gumbo Nation, literally one of the best in the country because of you and your trust. So I appreciate that. Some final numbers will be coming out, but looks like old boy here at Mortgage Gumbo is going to finish in the top 1% of all loan officers, in the entire country. So that is amazing, and that is because of you. So that's why we do it. That's why we do it. So, but before we get started, man, number one, be partying tonight. So, we ride on the Bayou Charters every year. Dave, you know that. I try to murder you and all of y'all out there. And that is going to be February 7th, I think, Float 16. More to come, the Bayou Charters Float. Tonight's our little bash over at Current Studios. So,
ooh, nice.
Yeah, excited about that. But it was almost, man, look, everybody, you get into the new year, and I've made over the last year, really since Gavin left, to try to be a little bit more healthier. Hence the word try, which if you talk to me, I'll always tell you in a business sense, the word try is a failing word. But so I've been, working out a little bit more, doing some things, not trying to, regardless of what y'all think, no, I'm not trying to get in any kind of competitions, right? Bikini contests or anything, or bodybuilding. And just trying to get away from, and ironically, I'm wearing a shirt today that says "Body by Bacon," but trying to get away from that, right? Or in my case, "Body by Little Debbie Snack Cakes." You know what I mean? So, so Gavin comes home. They were starting school this week, so he comes in, and so last weekend he's in town, and he was doing some working out. I got the little sets of weights, one of the old bedrooms that's the quote workout room, right, Dave? Which basically I've got my tuxedo that I didn't wear since last year hanging up on one of the things. You ready to go for the? I'm like, oh, there it is. Okay, that's why I had it out all year, just so I knew where it was. But so I go and lift up some of the weights, and Gavin had his weight on there. It's those click weights, where you turn the weight and all that to the different kinds, right? I'm not a gym. And so I'm like, you know what? Let me try throwing around what he's throwing around.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I know where this is going.
Oh, bro. So I'm about midway doing some dumbbell rows, bent over, this and that. Well, not midway. I'm on set 3. I remember it. It's almost like I remember it as the pain was so bad, I put it almost up there with my kidney stone. Dude, I dropped the left side of my back, just gave out. I mean, I'm like, whoa. And nobody's home.
Is that why I saw your social media pictures?
Yes.
You were
at a chiropractor. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, bro. So literally this happens, and I'm like, oh, I'll be okay. Well, dude, I couldn't get out of bed. And literally could not get out of bed. And I'm like, what's happening? So good friends of mine are like, hey, go check out Dr. Seller, all this kind of stuff. So I make an appointment, get in there. And this morning when I went to get up, it's the first time in a week where I didn't have to contemplate how am I going to do this.
Roll left,
right,
roll right, fall out of bed.
Fall, right, walk up my legs and do that. But it hit me as I'm sitting in that chair that I posted or all week doing this. Not once, not one time in my entire life, Dave, not once. And I'm 54, going to be 55, double nickels this year, April 20th, weed day. So I've been told. So not one time in my life have I ever ever injured myself eating a buffet, knocking down multiple slices of pizza, setting records, eating crawfish by the pounds. Yet working out, I hurt myself. So it's like, once I'm back, do I get back to working out, or do I stay in my lane and just know what I know? Have I built my body so strong that it can overcome food and those type of things and just maybe leave the weights alone? Because
maybe don't lift your son's weights.
Yeah, I mean, I think
you're no spring chicken no
I
more,
know.
bro.
And a friend of mine, Richie, posted. He goes, number one back injury is old people thinking they're young, right?
Yeah.
So, and it hit home. I was like, God, you're not lying. But so dealing with that was kind of crazy, but we're getting back. So I'll have my dancing shoes on tonight with a little help from some prescriptions, right, to make sure that the back kind of goes along and cooperates when I'm dancing, So, but man, if anybody's out there, it's just the worst. And I hate to say this because I know people that this is affected. I can see why. To me, the back was almost like the kidney stone, or I'll never forget when I had dry socket from having a wisdom tooth pulled.
Ooh, yeah,
Like,
that sucks.
Like, bro, you can't get to the pain. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't feel it. You can't get to it and try to stop it. It's just there, throbbing, and so it was a challenging week, but
that sounds awful, Dwayne.
Yeah.
I want to laugh at you, but I can't.
Yeah.
I get it. That sucks, bro.
Yeah. Well, my sister works for me, and Tracy, who's been with me forever, and they're like, you know what you'd be telling us? Suck it up. Illness, being sick's in the mind, this and that. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. So, and then me being a genius, I'm putting heat on it. And the doctor's like, dude, no, you got to ice. You got to get the inflammation down. So anyway, we got there. Here we are. We're recovering, but be careful out there. And remember, I mean, last Friday was what was it? Quit Friday.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Quitter's Day. Quitter's Day.
Quitter's Day. So if you're out there and you're still hanging on and you're still doing those resolutions, then good for you. So good stuff there. But a couple other things. Look, we told you we're going to be bringing in guests. We're going to be doing all kinds of great stuff this year, and just bringing in top talent. Look, some of the other things. You've trusted us, and the numbers show it when it comes to helping with buying your home and refinancing. Hey, if you're considering listing your home, get with Mortgage Gumbo. We can help you with that as well, right? We can help you. So, if we're trusted enough to help you purchase that home, believe me, we can help you sell it as well with our Total Home Authority and the programs that we have. So let's make sure that we talk about that. All right, still to come, we're going to be talking about refinancing. Is it right for you? We've got some great questions here. And then affordability is improving when it comes to purchases. So it's happening. We want to make sure, are you aware? We use data. We use the truths here to make sure that we've got you prepared on what I'm seeing as we're writing up these pre-approval letters and buyers are going out into the market. We're going to help you understand what's going on so you can win. You finally decided it's time, 2026, you want to buy a home? Well, dang it, we want you to win. So don't go anywhere. If you do, I'll find you. You're listening to Mortgage Gumbo with Dwayne Stein right here on iHeartRadio, 504-260-0995. Welcome back. We are family, Gumbo Nation, and I love you, and I appreciate you and your trust. So many of you. So many of you. Hey, how'd you hear about me? Radio. More specifically, my dad, my aunt, my mom, my grandma, my grandpa, coworker listens to you. Thank you. Cannot say it enough. You're absolute rock stars, and I appreciate you. All right, so let's kind of get into a little bit. Look, rate purgatory. It's real, right? It's real. But the narrative is changing, especially for some of you who are like, hey, Mortgage Gumbo said he could help us sell a house. Awesome. Great. I'm going to reach out to him. You know why you kind of been in rate purgatory? Hey, if I sell, then what? Right? I don't want to go buy something else that's less, blah, blah, blah. But now we're starting to look at all these different factors, right? Things have changed over the last 3-4 years. Family size, jobs, all those kind of factors. So, but what I can tell you is, what I want to talk about is, when it comes to purchases, affordability is improving. And it has been for 8 straight months. And, hey, great, affordability. What does that mean? Why do they figure out What they mean by affordability is price to income. Basically, your income compared to what you can afford to purchase price. And that is coming down. And the reason that's coming down is homes are not appreciating like they were in 20 and 21 at 19 and 20%, and appreciating more than what your COLA, your cost of living, your income was increasing. So when they say price to income, for instance, back in 2022, they were like, hey, affordability is 5 times your income, meaning houses, right? Like on what you can afford. Well, it's well above that. So, for instance, if you make 50 grand, well, 5 times 50 is 250. Well, if the average house was more than that, so to speak. Well, now that's getting down into the mid to upper fours. So, it's down almost 1%. So that same 50, if you times that times 4, now it's 200. Optimally, what they want you to be looking at when it comes to affordability is, 3 to 4 times your income. And when it comes to the purchases, and we've talked about this for years, and so many of you are now benefiting when it comes to the refinances, which we're still going to talk about, but every 1%, the rate drops, minimum of 5 million buyers enter the market. And I am seeing that as we come on this show and go, hey, last year rates were this, now they're this. And they're right at 1% lower. So when I say 5 million buyers enter the market, what is that? What does that mean? It's not in this market in particular, but what that means is competition. Right? I mean, if you divided 5 million by 50 states, you'd go, hey, that's an extra 100,000 buyers. But we know that's not the same, right? Our state has 4 million. Houston has more than that, in the city alone. So, but what that means is it's competition. And what have we been talking about? The delistings, right? And this is why what I'm already seeing is the spring home buying. I think people are trying to get ahead of things a little bit, because we talked all about all these delistings that happened from July through October of last year. And the reason that happened was why? These were folks who were sub 4%. They want to sell, don't have to sell, blah, 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 all that stuff, right? But what that has affected is this, y'all, and it comes down to supply and demand. And and if you're new to the show, we're educating you. If you've been listening, you've heard me talking about this or warning of this. And what it comes down to is one simple thing, and that's inventory. It's inventory. And one of the things we've talked about the last couple of years is, hey, days on market, right? Oh, that house has been on the market for 82 days. They're asking 250. I'm going to go offer them 210. And then it gets turned down. Because that person wants to sell, they don't have to sell. But some data came out this past week from out of Housing Wire. Year over year, housing inventory growth has slowed to single digits. From 33% last year, mid-25, down to single digits in the 9th percentile to start off 2026. So see, Gumbo Nation, people, when they put it in words, you already know this because we've talked about this. Why is it dropped? All those delistings, all those things have came off the market. Well, Dwayne, that means inventory is going to pick up, right, when those people come back to sell. Yes. But those people that are going to come back to sell when they took it off the market for that 250 in July or August, and rates are now 0.5% cheaper than what they were then. Do you think they're putting it back on the market to give you, first-time home buyer, the deal of the century? No. So that's where when you start looking at values, and while affordability is good, this is why winning. This is why what I'm seeing right now is a little bit more sense of urgency on consumers going, hey, let's try to get in before that April and May. Now, we don't know what's going to happen with rates, right? Who knows? This Greenland stuff, all the, we talk about this all the time, right? It's a roller coaster. It's ebbs and flows, right? And so you get, and then things come out, and then it slows things down. It's not going to be just falling off of a cliff. But inventory, when you're looking at that, and then you start when you, like, for instance, January 9th, new listings totaled 39,000 for the week. Now, this will improve, like I said, with delistings and all that. But that's down 12% year over year. And if you start getting into all these factors of, hey, what was it? And when you're looking at it, to give you an idea, you're looking at in the good days, right? Like what they're saying. You were having anywhere, new listings were between 250,000 and 400,000 per week. Remember all those people with the bubble? Oh, bubble's coming. Bubble. We kept saying it can't. Well, now look at it. Right? So now we would jump for joy to see 80,000 new listings. And I think we will as the time comes. But my reason bringing this, and I do this, Gumbo Nation, is to make sure that we're understanding the whys and why it's so important to make sure you're working with a pro, why it's so important to make sure that when you get out there. And some other things, too, to consider. I'll just throw this out when it comes to when you're looking at, I think we'll see a little bit of an inventory boost also is in 2026, you're going to have over 10 million. The amount of people with 6% have now surpassed those who have 3% or less. Right? And I'm now getting phone calls about people going, hey, can you help me sell my house? Or what are your thoughts? Well, somebody that's at 4, 4.25, and we're talking about rates in the 5, heck yeah, let's make a move. But they're expecting 10 million, over 10 million homeowners will have 6% or higher in 2026. So that's sellers, that's opportunities, right? But if they're selling, they're buying as well. So it's a little bit of a fine line. But I see all these posts, oh, it's a buyer's market, it's a buyer's market. It's a prepared buyer's market. And that is why it's so important to make sure that you're working with professional realtor, to make sure that they're representing you. You're making sure that you're having conversations ahead of time. So when you go out there, we try to avoid that disappointment. Now, if you're somebody, hey, great, whatever, I'm not worried about it. If I get a house, great, and you go out there and you're throwing out insulting offers, that's a whole different ballgame. But if you know little Johnny's going to be going to a certain school next August and you want to get into a certain neighborhood and you want to do this and you want to do that, then we've got to make sure that you're prepared and looking at those programs. Because, listen, what we're not seeing is we're not seeing a bunch of low appraisals on purchases. I'm seeing a lot of them where they're coming back higher than list. So what does that tell you? Right? The folks who are trying to be greedy and, kind of just, hey, let's just see, we're not having low appraisals. So if the house is listed fairly, it's going to sell. If it's in decent condition, it's going to sell. So being prepared means, hey, are you pre-approved? Has your income truly been looked at? Sold a $700,000 deal this week. You want to know why? And God bless this seller agent. Can you imagine a seller agent actually called the lender and said, hey, I want to talk about this buyer before I accept this offer or counter? Can you imagine? I wanted to call that homeowner and go, hey, that seller, and go, you know what? You hired a great person. You mean they didn't just take some piece of paper that said Joe Blow is approved? They called and asked. And there's only certain things we can, we're not going to give them your social and all that, but I'm going to let them know you got a heck of a buyer. Let's rock and roll. And because this person's pre-approved, we wrote a 20-day contract. So it's truly getting your income. And if you're serious about that, that's where, hey, you go to mortgagegumbo.com. We take a peek. We look at things. Let's see exactly where you're at so we can put you in that situation to win. Because as affordability is improving, again, it's competition. Buyer yesterday going out. And, hey, haven't heard this in a while. It's in a price range of right at $225,000. I mean, that's golden these days, right? Hey, we're taking all offers through end of business last night. It went on the market Tuesday. Multiple offers. Folks, that's like back in 20 and 21. Put a sign in the yard and go, hey, we're taking offers from 9 p.m. to 4 p.m. today. Best and final. And we'll let you know tomorrow morning what's accepted. Because why? And what is causing that? That's competition. So that's what we want to make sure that we're helping you be prepared for. And that's what we do. That's why we win. That's why you trust Mortgage Gumbo. Hey, that's why, not just locally, but nationally, ranked as one of the top loan officers in the country. If you've heard of the program, Gumbo Nation, I have it. Let my 30-plus years of experience work for you. I work for you. And some of y'all call, I'm a little bit embarrassed about this. Hey, it's judgment-free. You know how I learned about credit? Doing stupid things in college. So I give firsthand knowledge of how to do things and to fix things. And making sure that we're looking out. Because a lot of those folks out there, hey, they're judging you by a score. Or you're judging yourself by a score on some goofy app that you get. No. Let's look at it. Weekly, I improve people's score 20, 30, 40 points. Sometimes without a penny, just shifting balances around. But you know what unfortunately happens weekly too? You go talk to somebody that don't know their butt from a hole in the ground, and they tell you to go pay off something, and then it lowers your score, and then it's that much harder for us to sort of put the building blocks together for you. Now's not the time to be taking chances. We're trying to win. That's what we do. We win for you in this environment. All right, don't go anywhere. On the other side of the break, we're going to get into our weekly segment, Rate Watch, and then refinancing. Is it for you? Is it right for you? Hey, what are the different programs? Let's talk about that. Is it just about rate? Let's discuss all that and more. Don't go anywhere. Get your questions in. Info at mortgagegumbo.com. You're listening to Mortgage Gumbo with Dwayne Stein right here on iHeartRadio, 504-260-0995. Welcome back. You're listening to Mortgage Gumbo with Dwayne Stein right here on iHeartRadio. If you want to join the show, 504-260-0995.
You're saying it wrong. It's got to be
dude, you know what?
Talk 99.5 WRNO.
Oh, yeah, because it's Cass. Yeah.
Exactly.
Welcome back to the Love Line, the Lone Love Line. So, one of the things that when we're looking at this, and we're going to get into in a second, is refinancing right for you? And the word I come up with is wow, because refinances are up 183% year over year. And why is that? Well, rates are a lot lower, right? So when it comes down to that, there's just so much there. But so before we get into refis, got a great question here that came over. Dwayne, I broke one of your 10 commandments. Love the show. In a nutshell, I just started this month. I quit my job and just started this month working for a local company. But here's the good thing. After being self-employed for 12 years, can you help me buy a home? Well, here's what I could tell you, right? Because the number one commandment, not to break, is thou shalt not quit your job or change your job. Exactly. However, quitting that W-2 job, going to self-employed, that's a huge no-no. So in this case, yeah, there's going to be options for you. Absolutely there will be. Because now if you're a W-2 employee, hey, some programs we could do as little as 30 days of pay stubs. Heck, I've gotten it done on an offer letter. So that is a great question there, and is that something keeping you on the sideline? So for that part, hey, if you're going from self-employed to W-2, you don't have to wait 2 years and all that stuff. Again, get with me. Let's have a discussion. Let's see. All right, let's get into our weekly segment we like to call Rate Watch. All right, we had Greenland. We had, hey, also good news talking about inventory. Hey, Trump signed that thing, not letting, and I did. And if you're not, go to mortgagegumbo.com, click on the root, and sign up for the newsletter. It's not propaganda, but I wrote about this in length about why banning large housing investors could be a win, right? Trump signed that into order. Now, there's some caveats on there, right? It's not making them sell the houses back and all that. And keep in mind, a majority of folks who own investment properties or folks like you and me that own 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's not all corporations, but them taking their hands out of the cookie jar is going to open up some opportunities. So I think that is a big thing there. So, but again, go over to Mortgage Gumbo and then sign up for that Rue newsletter. It comes out every Thursday, and we talked that. I wrote an article all about that this week. All right, so, but we got the Greenland stuff. We've got, political propaganda going on. So, hey, we saw rates this week. A 30-year last week was right at 607. This week, 6.19. Now, I got my folks locked in early, so we're in good shape, right? And again, 10 basis points here or there is not make or break, Gumbo Nation. So we're still in a great spot. And we're still right at 1% lower than we were 1 year ago. 15-year, 5.76. FHA, 5.85. These are, I'm saying fiver. Jumbo, 6.38. VA, 5.87. 10-year Treasury was 4.246. That was up 20 basis points. So, again, we're seeing, but what do we talk about? And this is where, Gumbo Nation, I need you to keep working for me out there and explaining. The Fed funds rate has nothing to do with mortgage rates. Because the Fed speaks this week and everybody's like, hey, what do you think? Are they going to cut mortgage rate? It's nothing to do with that. If we were waiting on the Fed, the mortgage rates wouldn't be where they're at right now. It's all these other factors. And I think once we get Freddie and Fannie to start this quantitative easing where they start buying these billions of bonds, we're in for some good stuff there. Some good stuff. All right. So I know, and when we're talking about refinancing, right? It's up 183% year over year. And a lot of you just been in, heck, you're not in rate purgatory. You're like, hey, I need this. Right? What else is happening is, for some of you, and I've got many of you as clients, hey, we did the old 1.0 buy down or the 2.1 buy down. So that 7%, you got 5%, then 6%. Now it's back up. Well, now the rates are lower than that. So there's things that we've got to look at and figure out, hey, is it right for you? But you've got to know what you're getting into as well. And you got to be careful, Gumbo Nation, because not everybody's got 30 years of experience. Not everybody is able to be in a judgment-free zone when they're working with you. Some folks don't know any better, and the only thing they know how to do is sell rate. Sell rate, sell rate, sell rate. And they may be doing that at your cost because they're giving you a nice number on a piece of paper, but at how much are they charging you for that? So the number one thing when we're looking at, hey, are we ready to refinance, is what is your goals? And I get it. It's save money, right? But it's the next question. So when Dwayne at MortgageGumbo.com is able to save me money, what are we going to do with that money? Right? Are we paying off debt? Or are we recouping our savings? Or are we doing some home improvements? Or are we going to travel? Let's ask that next question. And that's the conversations when I have with people, they go, wow, I didn't even think about that. I'm just trying to save money, and I get it. That's the life raft, no doubt about it. But what I want to know is, what are your goals? So we can make sure that we're setting this up and that this makes sense for you. Tons of calls every day that I tell folks, yes, I can lower your rate. And here's what it looks like. And I do not, because, and y'all all know this, we're all different. So Dwayne saving $50 might be earth-shattering, where somebody's saving, I had somebody this week, $275, and they're like, I don't know if that benefits me. All right, well, let's remember why you called. Right? You called because your overtime's been cut off. So you're not making what you were making when you bought the house. So does that $275 a month, what does that do for you? Yes, it saves you $275 a month, but is that kind of, I don't know, your electric bill, your water bill, and your streaming bill now sort of being paid for as well, right? Does it alleviate that? Does it give you an opportunity to breathe a little bit easier? So I get it. Chasing a number, we say this, and it's for purchases, and it's also for refinances. When rates are high, people want lower. When rates are low, people want even lower. Very rarely. And I get it with some of my investors who come in and go, hey, I'm not worried about it. Put some points on it, do this and that. I need write-offs. Okay. But you got to know, hey, what type of refinance are you looking for? Or are you doing a streamline? With VA, that's an EARL. FHA, they offer streamlines, rural development streamlines. Or are you doing a rate term? What that means is, and that this was obsolete for years, right? But now you're doing a rate term where you're getting rid of that 7.5% and getting 6% with no cash out. You're just lowering your payment. Maybe you're doing a rate term and considering, and we're doing this for folks right now too. They know they're in their forever home. Maybe going down to a 15-year mortgage. Showed a client this week. Had 28 years left. Because the biggest thing with refi, I'm resetting. I've been at 28 now. I'm going back to 30. Sure. But we show you, at least I do, on the benefits of biweekly, the benefits of making a little bit of an extra payment. But this particular client, we're going from 28, took them down to 15 years. Now, the payment went up a few bucks, like $170. But they're saving over $120-something thousand in interest. and they're in their forever home. This home's across the street from their daughter. They're not going anywhere. Grandbabies, they know where they want to be. And it's not an affordability crisis. So, getting back, is it rate term? And then the other is cash out. Now, cash out could be a few different things. Cash out, also know, are you getting cash or are we doing debt consolidation? Meaning, are we paying off debts? And on that, what we're seeing is hundreds upon hundreds. Some of them are thousands of dollars a month in savings right now. So the first thing we need to do is, and that's why, hey, what do we want to accomplish here? This is Disney World where everything is perfect. What is the goal? Let's discuss it. Give me what my job is and how I need to go help that house that you've worked so hard for. That's why you trust me. How do I make that house work for you? So that's what we work on. That's what we need to plan. All right, don't go anywhere. On the other side of the break, we're going to get into a little bit of like considering, hey, what interest rate difference should we be looking at? What are some of the things to consider when you're doing this, right? You've got your goals. You want to save money. You're now thinking, all right, what am I going to do with that money? Where do I start? Hey, I go to mortgagegumbo.com. What are we going to look at? What are the things, some of the factors that we're going to be looking at for you? So we're going to kind of give you a little bit of a cheat sheet there. So you're listening to Mortgage Gumbo with Dwayne Stein right here on iHeartRadio. The home away from the show is mortgagegumbo.com. Do you want to list your house? You trusted me for 30-plus years of helping you buy and refinance, reverse mortgages, construction, renovation. Hey, we can help you list your house as well. We're part of our Total Home Authority. All right, don't go anywhere. You're listening to Mortgage Gumbo with Dwayne Stein right here on iHeartRadio, 504-260-0995. Sorry about that, Gumbo Nation, but if you're of the age 50 plus, hearing that song, it's now going to be in your head all day long. So I guess enjoy it. Just think of mortgagegumbo.com. All right, so we're talking about refinancing. Discuss a little bit about the loan types, programs. But what are the factors? What do you need to be really considering, right? And number one is the interest rate. What is, a lot of people like to go, hey, 0.5% or 1%. Well, we got to make sure that it makes enough sense for you, right? And where those savings and that making sense is going to come in from is reducing your interest rate. So we've got to look at that. Now, here's what I'll say. The interest rate may not be as much of a factor when it comes to cash out loans, because whatever the rate is you've got now on your home, it's going to be a lot cheaper than those 25, 30% credit card bills that are piling up, right? To keep stuff from going past due. So, but what are you looking at? And a rule of thumb is usually, 1%. Some people say 0.5%, but it's just going to depend. We're going to look at that for you. We don't want you to have to worry. This is what we do, okay? The other factor is, how long are you planning on staying in that home? Have things changed? Chances are, from when you purchased 1, 2, 3 years ago, chances are some things may have changed up a little bit. So let's make sure that your goals line up. Did you, or were you that person that we chatted about and having all these conversations and people thanking me? Man, I remember you told me, hey, put down 5%. Now it's time to refi. I've got that money, blah, blah, blah. What can we do? Well, that's where we look at. We're lowering that rate. We're putting that money down and just saving hundreds upon hundreds of dollars for folks. Loan term, we talked about this. Most people aren't going to be in a position to go from a 30 to 15 year. But we're going to look at and see everything. Look at it as a whole. We're going to discuss the benefits of, hey, when we do this refinance, let's get set up on biweekly. And if you do biweekly, here's how quickly that will pay off. Or if you make this, learn about amortization. We're going to show you how to beat the system, so to speak. Another factor, equity in your home. So many of you right now that are listening, you are house rich. You've gained so much equity. You were brave. You bought, and you've gained a ton of equity. But are you house rich and maybe cash poor? Because maybe you got that 4% rate and you put down 25% because you thought, hey, it's always going to be like this. Bit off a little more than you could chew. Taxes, insurances, everything like that's having factors. Debts have piled up. Well, the beautiful thing is you've built wealth. Your home is a wealth-building tool, and you've built wealth. So let's look at that. That equity now, hey, look, can we get rid of that private mortgage insurance that's on there? And private mortgage insurance is a lot more affordable than it used to be. But maybe we refinance and, hey, buy it out. Again, we're going to line up your goals. Credit score. Look, we know credit does not intimidate me. I've been doing this for 30 plus years. Don't let credit intimidate you. Get rid of the embarrassment of, because credit, what is it? It basically scores you based on good and bad decisions you've made in the past.
2 minutes.
But credit may, just because I've got a bar right now. When they bought last year, the credit score has gone down from when they purchased. A couple hiccups. 2 other lenders judged them by the credit score. Sorry, can't help you. Came to us, saw what kind of loan he had, doing a streamline. Going to save them over $500 a month. Because everybody out there only knows rate and they judge you by your score. At Mortgage Gumbo Dad Cam, that's not what we do. And that's why you, Gumbo Nation, are doing such a good job, because it's a shame it took him to the third time to come over.
1 minute.
So don't let credit score be a factor. But the bottom line is this. Refis are up 183%. You're sitting on equity. Maybe your rate's a little bit higher than you want, and you just, should I refinance? Let's have a conversation. Go to mortgagegumbo.com or go to Snap, Send, and Save.com. Easy. No cost, no obligations, just answers. Be careful this week, Gumbo Nation. Wrap those pipes, protect those plants.
20.
It's going to be a chilly one. Be safe out there. Till next week, Gumbo Nation. Keep stirring the pot.